Welcome back. I do not think this is exactly what the doctor ordered, even if the Supreme Court were to strike down the health care mandate that everyone has to get health insurance. We would still need to pay for the rest of the law, because that still goes on, my friends. And this may be how. The Institute of Medicine is already urging a 2% tax on folks with private insurance and Medicare to expand public health spending, because they're still going to expand the spending. Dagan, then that means our medical bills still go up. The mandate goes down, they go up a lot more.
The worst of all worlds is if the individual mandate gets struck down and the rest of the law stands, because insurance companies will be required to insure all comers. And then you won't have, then young people who are healthy won't be buying the insurance, and premiums will skyrocket. And our health, there's nothing in this healthcare law as it stands, as it's written, that really reduces how much we spend as a nation on healthcare. John McCain actually on the campaign trail had a great idea about changing the way that health insurance is taxed in this country. That would reduce how much we consume. There's nothing that's happening that will do that, and we're going to get taxed more to pay for the increased spending.
Well, I'm not an expert at this law, but it does involve some degree of rationing. So at that point, don't you consume less?
No, it doesn't. Not to a great degree, because
Death
there was such an outcry.
I don't know. I mean,
there
was
was
a
such an
degree,
outcry over rationing.
I think there is a degree of rationing. Listen, one of the
the 15 panel.
I mean, listen, this thing is a monstrosity. It's gazillions of pages. No one.
So you would have to kill the whole thing.
I think so.
Yeah,
because next
all
year,
of it
Charles Payne, I believe the Medicare provision kicks in. You sell your house or whatever over $200,000. There's a surtax 3.8% that goes to Medicare. I think that's a news alert to a lot of folks when that happens.
It is a news alert to a lot of folks.
So then what? I mean, that is not going to be enough to make up for, let's say, that provision, the mandate provision being lost. So then to these doctors' recommendation, you would have to do something like that.
You probably would. The bottom line is that this is something that there should have been some real thoughtful, analysis put in. You got to rip it apart. You got to take away the bureaucracy. I don't think there's anything more bureaucratic.
No, Nancy Pelosi said you have to approve it to see what's in it.
And now look what we're looking
I believe the Supreme Court addressed that, didn't they? I mean, didn't they? Breyer talked about it.
Only two of the justices brought up the notion of killing off the whole.
But they said, can it exist without the whole thing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're right. Well, that will be the battle. Go ahead, Adam.
First of all, I want to congratulate you for making the case here why it was a mistake to try to invalidate this law, because you're absolutely right. We will
that's not what I
wreak
said.
havoc with the medical system.
No, Adam, once again.
You did it.
True to your philosophical bent, you are taking what I said out of context. I said that the only way to kill this thing is to kill all of it. You get rid of the mandate, you're not getting rid of it at all. In fact, you might be making problems worse. That is what I said.
And yet the opponents
continue my, obviously agenda-driven friend.
And yet the opponents of this bill have opened the Pandora's box, because the Supreme Court considers constitutional issues, not political issues, and not matters of the facts in the specific legislation. They say, is this constitutional or not? And I want to point out a very important point, because Charlie did something particularly nasty a moment ago. All insurance is rationing, Charlie. You know that. That's what insurance is. So to the extent that there's more insurance in this bill,
taken rationally
with the mandate,
when you have death panels, that takes it to a new level.
For going
By the
down.
way, where's the death panel in your insurance policy, Adam?
There is. I mean, they won't pay for absolutely anything. Yes, my insurer will reject certain things according to the rules of the policy. Again, you know that.
I do want to stick to this topic, and I want to bring Ben Stein back in as to whether, Ben, you think let's say the mandate thing goes down. A lot of people seem to think it will. We might rue the day then, right?
We might very well rue the day, and it might be that Mr. Obama will withdraw the whole thing and split in a new policy. But the idea of having a 2% tax on medical care is just almost unbelievably preposterous. I cannot think of a more regressive anti-health tax than to tax people who want to get in and get medical care. I mean, why would we do that? That's the exact opposite of our goal, which should be to get more people getting medical care.
Isn't it by definition that targeting those better off? A surtax on those who have a plan or a generous plan or Medicare. And believe me, I'm not subscribing to it, but the idea was to go after those who have a little bit more than the rest.
But why suppress their health either? I mean, surely we do not want to say, we have a big controversy a moment ago about how much we should tax the rich.
You just said in the last segment that we should.
But I don't think anyone agrees that we should deprive the rich of their health or the middle class of their health. I mean, because a person has a health insurance policy.
You just said in the
he
last
shouldn't be
segment, though, Ben,
penalized for
they
going
can
to the
afford to
doctor.
pay more than they should.
Yeah,
So when
you
it
know,
comes
why
to
should
health
they
care,
have to
by
pay
extension, they
any
should. That's
more
exactly
for
what
the
Voltaire
very
said.
wholesome, for the very wholesome idea of going to the doctor. I mean, we want people to go to the doctor.
Okay.
I want you to all feel my pain when I pay the 10% tannin tax a couple times a week.
Me too.
I feel it, Dagan.
I feel it. And when you say it with that southern accent, I feel, say no to the tannin tax.